Hey everyone, so here we are at Warm Robot Studios. I wanted to really quick do a video talking about how we set up the effect pedals for Modulated Drummer. Yeah, like I've mentioned a couple times, we record all our videos here at Warm Robot Studios, and thanks again to them. Yeah, so what we do is we run a live drum set into an effect pedal, and then we record what that sounds like. So we've got 7 mics set up. We've got one on the bass drum. We've got one on the snare. We're doing 2 mics on the floor tom, one on the bottom down here on channel 3. This mic is, on channel 3, it's miking the bottom. And channel 4 is this Rode NTK tube mic. We've got channel 5, we're running a ribbon mic on the hi-hat. It's about a drumstick away from the hi-hat. And then on channel 6 and 7, we're using an AKG C414 on the left and the right. So those are in channel 6 and 7. On the mixer. You'll see right here we actually have a snake. So instead of going directly into the mixer, we're going into here. 3 and 4, like I said, are the floor tom. 5 is the hi-hat, and 6 and 7 are the overheads. So yeah, this just makes it a little bit easier to plug stuff in and out. Basically from the snake it just goes right into the mixer, and I'll show you that in a second. So yeah, channel 1, we've got the bass drum, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are the rest of the mics on the drums. Just in case you're curious, we're using a Ramza WR S4416. And yeah, let's go back around to the back of the mixer just so you can see how we've plugged everything in there. So, yep. So the output of the snake is all these cables on the bottom. Yeah, the snake has just 16 XLRs, and we ran all of those into the bottom channel of our mixer, into the XLR input section. So if you look on the right, that's basically channel 1. It's the bass drum, that's the snare, that's the floor tom. Yeah, 3 and 4 are the floor toms. And we plugged them, instead of just going directly into the back, like I said, we plugged them into the snake, and then the snake just kind of transfers whatever we have plugged into the snake into the back of the mixer. But it's basically exactly the same of just plugging it into the mixer. It's just a little bit easier for routing. So channel 8 actually isn't a mic. We're plugging in the effect pedal into channel 8, but right here you'll see there's a section on the back of the mixer called aux, and it's got 4 aux plugs basically. We're using aux 2 to send all the mic signals out of the mixer. Yeah, we've got a cable plugged all the way into aux 2, and that is sending the signal from all of the microphones into the effect pedal. So once again, aux 2 is going out of the mixer, and it's going into the pedal, into the input section of the pedal right there. So yeah, pretty straightforward, just an aux send to the pedal, and then the output of the pedal is going back into the mixer. Yeah, so we run it out, and then it's going into the snake. It could go into the mixer, but we just wanted to run it into the snake just so it's easier to unplug stuff. So it's a little bit hard to see, but that cable right there is going into channel 8 back on the snake, and then that you can see it right there. So since it's plugged into channel 8, whatever, it's going back out of the snake and then into the mixer on channel 8. So yep, you can see right there, we just have it going back in there. And what that does is it allows us, yeah, you can see, I'm just showing the back of the mixer. That's the XLR cable coming from the snake. And then that allows us to route the effects level into channel 8, so we can control the volume of the effect and set it to whatever sounds good. So, yep. So this aux send thing, you'll notice that on the front of the mixer, this says aux 2. And then it has a knob. Every single channel has a knob for an aux 2 amount. So we can set the amount of signal that's going to the pedal for the bass drum, for the snare drum, for every single channel. So if I want distortion or whatever pedal I'm using on the bass drum, but I don't want it on the snare, I can turn this aux knob off, and then I won't have any signal going to the pedal. And if I do want it, I can turn that aux knob up, which is really, really, really useful, because you can have one pedal and you can apply that effect to as many channels on the mixer as you want, and you can pick and choose. So that's really fun as well. We'll get more into that later in future videos. So just to recap, we've got the mics going into the mixer. We've got an aux cable going from the aux send to the pedal. We're running the output of the pedal back into the mixer into channel 8, and then we can control the amount of effect volume or level for all the mics with this volume slider on channel 8. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So that's basically it. I mean, the other things is, I mean, the main outs of the mixer is just going to our recording interface, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, actually the cool thing is, if we want to do a different pedal, all we have to do is swap out these two cables. We just take the aux send and the output cables and just swap out, put in a different pedal and just switch those cables. The aux send cable will go to the input, and the output of the pedal goes back into the snake and the mixer. So I hope that answers everybody's questions in advance, and if you have any follow-up questions, let me know. I'd be happy to try to answer those. Okay, so I'll talk about the melodic stuff that we've got going in here too. So yeah, Warm Robot Studios is all about electronic music. So for this series, we'll be creating melody using stuff like the Machine. You know, we're just gonna kind of pick and choose, but they've got some rad stuff here. You'll see a Machine Jam, the Machine Studio. Yeah, there's we'll probably be tinkering with the Novation Peak at some point. We haven't used that as I'm making this, but the Happy Apple, this thing's cool. We'll use that at some point. But yeah, I think the brain and the hub is going to be this Sequential Prophet X. I love that keyboard. Again, we're using the Ramza WR-S4416. We might swap that out at some point, but we'll see. Another amazing synth in the studio is the Matrix Brute. The sequencer section on this thing is one of my favorite sequencers of all time, so we'll be featuring that a lot. For some other textures and just vibes, we'll probably use the Mini Brute 2S, the Mini Log as well, just for kind of, it does a lot. The sequencer's rad, it does rad bass, rad pads. The Moog, Slim Fatty, and then we'll also be incorporating and exploring Electron stuff like the Analog Rhythm and the Analog 4. Yeah, so with that, that's the majority of what's set up here at Warm Robot Studios, and like I said, we'll just be getting super creative with all this stuff. Again, if you have any questions on that or want me to try anything specific, let me know and we'll try and make that happen. Okay, see y'all in the next video.